promising signs and a touching farewell in Tucson. Doctors report that Congresswoman Giffords, so gravely wounded in Saturday's shooting, is showing signs of cognizance and motor control beyond what anyone dared expect. Exciting news, but muted today by the laying to rest of the tragedy's youngest victim, 9-year-old Christina Taylor Greene, in a ceremony at a Catholic church in North Tucson. Here's David Wright with our report.
Today in Tucson, the first solid bit of good news from the doctors.
She's yawning, she's starting to rub her eyes, and then she'll spontaneously wake up, whereas before she would just go back to sleep right away.
Congresswoman Gabby Giffords appears to be waking up, but alongside that glimmer of hope, heartbreak, as this community today laid to rest the littlest victim of the shooting. 9-year-old Christina Taylor Greene and Congresswoman Giffords were forever linked by the mad gunman who tried to take both their lives. 5 days after that terrible event, two very different outcomes. For Christina Greene, a final goodbye, a funeral mass at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Church. 2,000 people turned up, some no older than Christina herself. So many, the overflow had to stand outside. Many of them, no doubt, moved to be here by the president's eulogy last night.
Christina was an A student. She was a dancer. She was a gymnast. She was a swimmer. She decided that she wanted to be the first woman to play in the major leagues. And as the only girl on her little league team, no one put it past her.
Obama, of course, has a daughter the same age.
Here was a young girl who was just becoming aware of our democracy, just beginning to understand the obligations of citizenship, just starting to glimpse the fact that someday she too might play a part in shaping her nation's future.
Today, outside the church, New York firefighters carefully unwrapped a flag with special significance. The 9/11 flag, recovered in tatters from Ground Zero and stitched back together with other flags from around the country. A red, white, and blue quilt from a nation that suffered and survived devastating loss. Christina Greene's life was one of the few bright spots from 9/11, as her parents told George Stephanopoulos this week.
She was pretty patriotic for a little girl.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Very patriotic. Very patriotic.
She always loved wearing her
Red, white, and blue.
red, white, and blue. She loved 4th of July over at my mom and dad's.
And she loved 9/11.
9/11.
She thought it was a holiday for her.
September 11th was her birthday.
One of 50 babies born that day to be pictured in a book called Faces of Hope. On either side of her photo in that book were simple wishes for a child's life. I hope you help those in need, read one. I hope you jump in rain puddles. If there are rain puddles in heaven, Christina's jumping in them today.
Small consolation on earth today.
Christina Taylor Greene has called us together this afternoon. This is her celebration.
Inside the church, only one still photographer was there to capture the scene as the priest tried to offer consolation.
Just 9 years old she was. But she has found her dwelling place in God's mansion. She went home.
Among the mourners, Commander Mark Kelly, Gabby Giffords' husband. For him especially, this was a day of mixed emotions. Just last night, surrounded by her friends from Congress, his wife opened her eyes for the very first time.
We were saying, come on, Gabby, as soon as you're out of here, we'll go out for pizza and beer again, and we'll take you on a double date. And then all of a sudden, she literally raises her whole hand. So she did a full hand, thumbs up.
And just in the time period that she was speaking, or they were speaking to her and they were holding her hand, you could clearly see her becoming more aroused and literally opened her eye.
Giffords also touched her husband's wedding ring.
And he said, you know, honey, if you can hear me, if you can understand me, play with my wedding ring, play with my wedding ring. And she reached over and she grabbed his ring, and then she reached further and grabbed his watch, and she was holding his watch, and then she reached further to hug him. And so like her arm was just by his face, and it was unbelievable, the amount of love that's just streaming between these two people.
No mistaking love in its more tragic form, too, as the pallbearers walked that little coffin to the hearse. Dante Mitchell was one of Christina Green's third-grade classmates.
It's hard to explain to them that she was not going to be at school on Monday. It was really hard, and he kept saying, but what if she is? What if she is?
I'm sorry that Christina died.
That simple wooden casket, so small and so fragile, was itself a labor of love, handmade by Trappist monks in Dubuque, Iowa.
She was an amazing little girl, and she got robbed of all the wonderful things that she could have done.
Today here, no one would dispute that, but the country is also getting something back, to the amazement even of Gabby Giffords' doctors.
Yes, miracles happen every day, and in medicine we like to very much attribute them to either what we do or others do around us, but a lot of medicine is outside of our control, and we're wise to acknowledge miracles.
That belief in something bigger, so much in evidence here this week, may be the only thing that helps make sense of the senseless, a power guiding one woman's recovery and hopefully watching over a little angel and the family she leaves behind. I'm David Wright for Nightline in Tucson.